Hello, kindred spirits. I've been talking about how emotions become trapped because of self judgment stuck in our magnetic emotional body. But I was talking about emotions and self judgments in a general way. And I'd like to get a little bit more specific here and show how it applies and really wreaks havoc in our lives and our relationships. All right, specific self judgments can be anything like I'm angry, I'm guilty, I'm helpless, I'm unworthy. The unworthy one is a big bugaboo for a lot of people, and it can be very, very devastating. Anyway, when you're living out of that emotional reality, a life can be very difficult and painful. And let's apply it to a specific example. I'll draw an example from my book, Hope is in the Garden. A woman came to Jana very early in Jana's career as a Sunan story healer. She was about 40. She dressed very plainly, even though Jana could see she really was quite lovely. Well, they got into a session, and it was back when she was a little girl, maybe 3 years old. She had long, blonde, beautiful curls. People would come up to her, pat her on the head, and say, "What a lovely girl." So, in her mind as a child, she associated her beauty with her long, curly blonde hair. Well, unfortunately, she got very sick with a very high fever, and her mother, trying to help her recover and stay cooler, cut her hair off. And she never realized that she needed to explain to her little girl why she'd done that. Well, you wouldn't think you need to explain to a 3-year-old what was going on. Well, as a result of that one action meant with all loving intent, the woman as a girl judged herself to be ugly and determined that my mother is my enemy. Well, from that time forward until the Sunan session of story healing, the woman had a very strained, very difficult relationship with her mother, and she lived the emotional reality of feeling ugly. So, in that Sunan session, she realized why her mother had done it because she looked into her mother's eyes and perceived with her soul senses the true intent behind her mother's action of cutting her hair. And so the woman was able to let go of her enmity of her mother, was able to let go of her self judgment that, hey, I am ugly. And she let go of that fully. She replaced it all with unconditional love. She forgave herself and forgave her mother. And she got up from that massage table where she was doing her session, a completely new person emotionally. It was a huge paradigm shift for her. So Jana saw her a few months later. She had repaired the relationship with her mother, and she was dressing in a much more complimentary fashion and highlighting her natural beauty. Her world had healed because she'd healed that part of herself. Now, did this make everything hunky dory? Did she get rich or famous or all that kind of nonsense that we associate perfection? No, but she did heal a deep wound that no amount of talk therapy could get to because talk therapy was going to the wrong place. It was going to the mental body. And her pain and her self judgment were in her magnetic emotional body. So that's just one small example of how self judgment really wreaks chaos and pain and difficulty in our lives, in our being. And next time, I am going to talk about a little, shall we say, add on to self judgment that really puts the pain and misery on fast forward. Until then, vaya con Dios.